Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we will be diving into Linux commands starting with ls and chmod. Linux commands are highly essential and crucial in today's work environment, whether you are working as a software engineer or a developer or even a beginner. Knowledge in these systems would be highly essential. Most of today's software, especially those which run on servers, are hosted with the help of Linux, and your knowledge in Linux would be highly efficient and useful whenever it comes to working on these systems. As you can see, this is my current working directory spanning through the root. I am located at the directory. Linux commands such as ls helps you as a user to see the contents of the file in which you are located at. If you type ls and when you hit enter, you basically get to see the contents of your directory / folder. You can see that there are 4 folders and 3 files. 2 of them are text files and 1 is a bash script. Each of Linux commands have tags associated with them, which enables you to have a flexible functionality associated with each of these commands. In case of ls, you can basically type ls-l, and when you hit enter, you basically get further details associated with these folders as well as files. Now when you do this, you would see that there are certain permissions which are associated with these directories as well as files, which basically are in the form of triplets. These are basically R, which stands for the read permission, W, which basically stands for the write permission, and X, which stands for the execute permission. The D at the beginning of all of this basically specifies the given state of your file or folder. In this case, D basically is directory, and it is basically also highlighted with the help of the blue color, which basically indicates that that is basically a folder or a directory. Furthermore, you would be interested to know that whenever you are working on a local area network or a wide area network, these also need to be specified in order for other users or groups of users who are sharing that with you on that network. So for that purpose, you basically also need to specify their permissions and privileges in order for them to be able to write, read or execute anything on that specific network. Now let's say you are an admin. Under that scenario, you would be asked to change certain permission, and under that scenario, these specifics which have been mentioned here, which is the second set of triplets, which basically are the read, write and execute permissions for the group of the users which are there on that network, and then there are others which share that network. Second, the second set of column here basically are numbers. So these are hard links. Links are basically connections or reflections of the copies of the data. Let's say if you have a link between file 1 and file 2, and if you make any changes to file 1, those same changes would be shown to reflect within the other file. So in a way, it keeps track of the changes and also makes sure there is redundancy, as well as ensures that upon accidental deletion, your data would be safe. Now you will be looking at the third and the fourth columns. They are basically Linux. That's because I am on my own local drive, but this wouldn't be the same for you, or in any other network this would change. The third column basically refers to the user, and the fourth column, which is also Linux, basically refers to the group. While each of the files and directories have a set of bytes associated with them, and that has also been listed. Curiously, you would see that the 4096 bytes are the size of the constitutive directories, directory, document, subdirectory, as well as var for the same, while any kind of data which has been written into this is also constituted for a bash script, which is 50. The last column basically refers to the last previous date when any kind of modification was done on these specific files and folders. As you might recall, I had mentioned that in a scenario where you are asked to change the privileges of the users who are there on a network, you would be asked to do so with the help of a particular command called chmod. Chmod basically allows you to modify the privileges for the user, the group, as well as other users which might be sharing that specific network. And there are multiple ways of doing so. I will like to demo this by modifying or giving the user the read, write and execute permissions for file1.txt. To do that, you write chmod plus the rwx and the name of the file which I want to do so. When I hit enter, you will not see the specific result immediately reflected back. So to do so, you have to again type ls-l to see all the details. Now you see that for the user it appears as green because he now has the permission to read, write and execute. Curiously enough, now you might consider why you? As you can see, why is it you as it has been written here? Well, the reason is chmod basically likes to use shorthand notations. So the U basically stands for user, G stands for group, as well as O stands for others. And it should be very clear that when you are adding privileges, you basically use the plus symbol. While you are removing permissions or privileges, you basically use the minus symbol. So in this case, I would like to remove the write and execute permission for the user. For that, you will again write chmod u negative wnx and file1.txt, and when you execute this and when you type ls-f, you will see that the changes that were there before have been removed, and it is only left to be only the user only has the write permissions. So this is possible again for the group as well as for the others on the same network. For that, you basically change this to, as I had previously mentioned, to G or O, and now this time I am giving write and execute permission for file1.txt with the group, and when I hit enter, let's see the change. Yes, the change has been reflected. So this is how you do this. But however, it should be noted that when you are an admin and when you are doing these kinds of things, it should be very careful consideration has been taken into account when you are doing this. There is also another way of doing the same, which is through the use of octal notations. Octal notations basically are numeric representations of certain file permissions which can be given. So for read, the octal notation associated here is 4, while the write and the execute permission, the notation is 2. So when you combine all of this for while you are giving read, write and execute permission for the user, you basically add these permissions, octal notations together, and what do you get? You get 7. So let's say if I want to give read, write permissions for the user, I will type chmod 7 and then I will type 00 and then the file of my interest, file1.txt, and hit enter, and when I type ls-l, you can see that in this case I have removed any kind of permission for read, execute or writing for the group and others, while for the user I have given all the permissions for reading, writing and executing. So this is how it works. So the octal notation basically combines 4 plus 2 plus 2, and that becomes 7, and that's how octal notations work. So similarly, if you are trying to change, let's say, only write and execute permissions for others in the group, in the network, you might actually write something like this: chmod 750. In this case, any user who are in the group will basically be getting the the write and execute permissions for file1.txt, and when you hit enter and when you see the change which has been reflected, you can see that for file1.txt now the user basically has write and execute permission but no write permissions. So this is how it works. So yeah, so I will be ending it here, and I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.